my name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. So I initially thought I was going to do a video on the trailer for the, was it season 13 of Doctor Who today? I saw it. It was like, what, 4 seconds long? What? I mean, I it's beyond me. It's beyond me how the marketing of this very, very, very valuable property, Doctor Who, is done so bad. I mean, like, really, it's incredible. It's really, they're working on the premise that they're incredibly successful and popular, and people are just like ready for anything. They want to get no, mate. It's not success, but I don't know why I'm telling you this. Look, this is the way people deal with complete and total failure. It's like, I've often wondered, how do you deal with complete and total failure? You pretend you succeeded. For reference, go see Afghanistan. You know, and the White House reaction to that. Go figure. There's nothing there. I'll look at it on my live stream tomorrow, but like, really, there's nothing there. What I got, which is far more interesting, like far more interesting, was sent to me. If you ever want me to credit you when you send me something, I mean, my default thing is always to credit someone. It's actually a Jewish thing. It's a religious Jewish thing. You're supposed to credit somebody. So my default thing is always to credit people, and I did that when I first started YouTube again. People were like, no, don't publicly associate me with you in any way. I like you. Okay, I like you, and I like what you, but don't publicly associate me with you in any way. Don't mention my name. Okay, so my default thing now is not crediting you unless you tell me, but I want to. So somebody sent me this video of Russell T Davies being interviewed by Frank Skinner. Well, firstly, in of itself, is brilliant, right? Hopefully I'll remember and put it in the video notes. We don't know if we're going to remember. We're going to put you, so it's brilliant in itself, but this comes from 3 or 4 years ago, just before Jodie Whittaker started as Doctor Who. And boy, were we in a different universe. But what this gives us is an incredible insight into the motivations of Russell T Davies and why he's doing what he's doing. Why did he come out? Which is really, frankly, still a shocking move. I think for most people are a bit like, really? Really? How'd they do that? I think it's good Russell T Davies wanted to do it. Fine, so we're going to get into this video. It's half an hour long. I edited down the relevant bits to about 10 minutes. But again, go see the whole thing in context. Listen, I just like hearing Russell T Davies talk because I'm a fanboy of his. I like it. I don't know how else to say this. I am genuinely a fanboy of Russell T Davies, which is different from being a fanboy of Doctor Who, but I'm also a fanboy of that as well. So, I mean, not that I'm assuming my own gender. Are you allowed to assume your own gender? I don't know the rules, okay? The rules are confusing, and they change often, right? And they don't make any sense. Well, you can't intuit the rules. Well, whatever. We're going to be watching this video together. You're getting my sparkling commentary, which, quite frankly, worth the price of admission in of itself. Now, what is that price of admission? Free! It's nothing, okay? At zero. If you could hit the like, share, and subscribe button, that would be fantastic. Comment, let me know what you think. And I am a bit famished. I'm a bit out of sorts because normally at this point I plug my Indiegogo, which I just closed last night. I don't know if it's closed yet. Okay, I don't know if it's closed because they said, well, I went to close it, right, to take it off in demand, and they said it might take up to 3 business days. I'm like, wait, what? Right? So I'm paying for the printing today, right? I got to do one more proofread on both the graphic novels to make sure they are. They have all the pages. They have all the pages in the right order, and I hate proofreading. I'm garbage at it. I've done it 100 times though, and I'm doing it one last time before I pay, and it's shipped out. So good news for everybody. Bad news for anybody living in the States. The posters I was gonna do, the 18 by 24 ones, you can't get them anymore. I mean, you can, but you got to pay like. The price just quadrupled. I mean, literally quadrupled. So I had to get smaller ones. What are they? They're still big, but they're smaller than I was planning. Listen, they're calling it supply chain issues, right? I've never seen supply chain issues before in my entire freaking life, okay? There's never been a point where you couldn't go and buy stuff, right? That's never happened. this is weird. We're living in weird times. So anyway, that's happening today, and I better get this out before anything else weird happens, right? I want to get this to the backers before the apocalypse, probably coming this month. I don't know. There's a rabbi who I like who thinks the Jewish month of HaGeffen, which starts on Wednesday, is a time when like stuff like that can go down. But honestly, it's always a time stuff like that can go down. But anyway, it's getting out to the backers before the apocalypse. So yeah, you're welcome. Can't wait to see for those male gaze cards as well. Okay, fine. So let's look. Again, it's so weird me not throwing it up. I'm like, hey, look at this. Go back here. Okay, I guess not. Next thing I'm starting is my Substack, but I got to get some straight work done. Okay, I've got so much work to do. Hopefully I'm going to start thinking about Substack and next week. So I hope so. Fine, let's have a look at this this video. Over here, there you go, bit of Frank Skinner. And I freaking love Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner is fantastic. Great interview as well. And what's great about this video, and one thing, it's just two Doctor Who fans talking about Doctor Who, which I always enjoy. You know why? Because I'm a Doctor Who fan, right? I'm a Doctor Who fan. So this is when Rusty Davies was promoting a book written by James Goss, a book of poetry, which Rusty Davies illustrated. I never got, and I'm kind of sad now after watching this video. He totally talked me into it just for the illustrations, which seemed really, really, really fun. But boy, there's a lot of weird stuff that we from a different universe that we're about to watch. So fine, let's start watching.
Hello and welcome. This is Frank Skinner. I am sitting with, I'm going to be straight, one of my heroes, Russell T. Davies.
Stop it.
No.
Okay, so my first reason why I like Russell T. Davies, why I like him a lot, is because I don't know if he's genuinely a modest person, a person of real genuine virtue, like virtue. I don't know if he really is. I know he pretends to be one at the very least, right? So he seems like, no, he's like, again, humility. Oh my God, humility is such a good thing. It's good for you. And you know how you get humility? It's by having self-confidence. By having complete confidence in yourself, you understand how to be humble. It's a weird, what's the word? Not juxtaposition, contradiction. Still not the word I'm thinking of. Contradiction kind of works. Oh man, it's just outside my head. I can see the words just outside my head. I really can't remember what it is. Yeah, that is good. That's why I've never really been into doing cocaine, right? I would kind of fancy trying it, but it's like way too expensive, the first thing. And the second thing is, I already think I'm awesome, right? I mean, and I do. I really think I'm awesome, which is kind of embarrassing, but it is the truth. But that's the way you get to be humble, which is, all this is weird, right? All this is weird. Let's keep listening.
I'm not going to stop it. You always say that, Russell.
Every night.
And you don't mean it.
Every night. And he's funny, and he's self-effacing. Right, whenever it fades to white, it means I've done a cut. If you want to see everything in context, hopefully I put the link in the video notes.
If I had a pen in front of me now, I would just...
Okay, so they're talking about here... drawing and being creative. Is that I always like somebody who drew, right? But it gets into a really interesting insight here.
Naturally be scribbling and drawing and doing. I have to cover my school desks with stuff.
Because I have a 5-year-old child, and I was leaving the other day, and he said, "Are you going to come back?" I said, "I won't see you till I'll be back a bit late." And he said, "Do you want me to I'll do a quick drawing of me for you to remind you what I look like." And I thought, at what point do we stop drawing all the time?
At what point do we stop playing? I know.
Yeah.
Somewhere in those yards, we tell people to stop. People say to me, "Why do you write?" And you go, "Well, we all do when we're kids. We all play War and Doctor Who and Off-Ground Touch and whatever. They're all stories, aren't they? And somewhere we...
So, yeah, the incredible thing about this is it just... two things, actually. One, and we're going to see this throughout this interview, is Russell's genuine connection, right? Genuine, glowing connection with humanity. And second thing is his understanding of it, right? He's really thought about it. Yeah, we all used to be creative when we're kids until we're told to shut up, right? Eventually, we get conditioned by education, educational systems, which I'm not really a fan of. Yeah. If my little thought on the educational system is like we got to educate kids, right? and we do it en masse. And so the system works for about the median 60% of kids. If you're in the top 20 or the bottom 20, forget it, you're screwed. And look, being somebody who's been in both, it's just not made for them. But like the thing that that we do teach our kids is to stop playing and grow up. Terrible idea. Terrible. We should play all our life. And I always loved that Star Trek. Was it Shore Leave? Right, when they said, because they're such an intelligent and advanced species, they understand the need for play, right? And I kind of like to play. So, yeah, I'm on board for all of this.
Stop that.
I'd like to identify that point.
I think the hormones stop it. I think boys and girls, I think you reach that age and suddenly bigger stories are much more interesting and take us away from our... Sex destroys creativity. Let's lay that out there as a theory.
I think it probably destroys it for him. Destroys it for me. I mean, listen, if you, I like being creative. I really do. I love writing and drawing comics. I like doing this stuff. I really do. If I'm going to get laid, all that stuff gets put on the side. Really, I'm like, I like that way more. Way more. Not even close.
And it's written by James Goss, the poetry.
Oh yeah, so they're talking about the book now.
But as you say, you did the drawing. There is a particularly fine double-page spread.
So this bit I kept in because I think it just gives you an insight into the genuineness of Russell's fandom, right? His faniness of it, which I do kind of call into. I mean, I call into doubt now with the. Chris Chibnall, maybe because he just doesn't like speaking publicly, right? Maybe he just doesn't. He seems very uncomfortable, but with public speaking and promotion and all those sort of things, he seems like really deeply hate it, right? I really don't like doing it. So maybe he is a real fan. I don't know, but the guy that he's done so much incredible damage to Doctor Who. I just feels like he can't really love it, right? It's just this one man's opinion, which seems to be echoed by most of fandom.
In which you've drawn every Doctor Who companion thus far.
Was a nightmare. That was my lost weekend. I call that one because they asked me to illustrate this book. I said, yes, of course. And there's all sorts of drawings in it, but one...
I mean, firstly, they said, yes, of course. I mean, what a nice guy.
Poem by James in there lists every single companion. Oh, my horror when that arrived on email. But actually, how much I loved it sitting there. Because, of course, now, how people used to draw in the old days, they just do a library and sit there and look up reference books. Now you just summon it all up online and you find your best 5 pictures of Vicky from 1965, Maureen O'Brien, the actress, and what's the most iconic costume you could possibly use. I loved it. I had such a good time. I mean,
you see that, and the ease of that just makes it seem like these aren't pre-programmed sound bites, which you don't get from Chibnall at all, right? You don't get it just seems like this is something that he genuinely is going on in his head all the time, like, let's talk about Vicky.
I've never in my life, I'm a Doctor Who fan, I've never in my life spent a whole 2 hours thinking about Vicky from 1965. When you've got to draw her, you do. You find yourself sitting there thinking about the actress and the stories and the costumes. I loved it. It was like a little bit of time travel for me.
Can I say I'm slightly disappointed that you needed photo references at all for the companions. I thought you'd just know them so well.
Some of them, Rose Tyler, my ones. I didn't need to look up my ones. I knew exactly what they were. But it's funny, you think you know them, but do you know how Barbara's collar works? You don't.
No, maybe not.
I imagine it's very severe and stiff. Okay, that's basically what. Very well starched. I can't. What's a collar like on top of my head? I don't know. Good point there, Russell.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it's all a bit blurry. You realise.
But surely that double-page spread of the companions will come out as a poster.
I think it should be a tea towel.
See, I think it should be again. There is no opposition on Russell Davies's awesome switch. A tea towel! It's just such an incredible, innate, and I think very English-centric understanding of culture and products and how to promote things. Again, I'm making this video because I looked what's the 4 to 5 second promo for Doctor Who season 13, and like, why even bother putting it out? It's just beyond me.
When I was 8, kissing was great.
Oh yeah, so they're talking about the poetry in the book, and it's based on the A.A. Milne thing. I can't remember, I can't quote it, but they said when I was 8, kissing was great. When I was 9, well, you can hear him talk about it.
When I was 9, I fought time.
Yeah.
Which Doctor Who fans will know that the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann, kissed his companion.
First Doctor to have a snog.
It was a shocker.
Wow. Were you shocked?
I was shocked.
Yeah, I was kind of. It did take me back. It's funny, isn't it? It's what 20 years ago now, and you're like, I don't like the Doctor. The Doctor having any form of romance. I think that's he's above that. I liked it that one time with Rose, because I felt it worked in context. But more than that, absolutely not. I mean, we are expecting Yaz and the Doctor to get it on in season 13, aren't we? Which, yeah, I mean, like, I've just one of the many things I'm expecting. But yeah, listen, it did kind of shock me at the time.
And she was lovely. I wanted to kiss her.
Grace, gorgeous, yeah.
Oh man, when Grace walks in that ball gown and the strapless, is it strapless? I imagine strapless. I was just fixated on her cleavage. And look, mate, this is just who I am. Okay, like I have very strong controls about what I look at because I'm basically a very horny guy all the time. Okay, that may sound funny to you. For me, it's a nightmare. I'm like trapped in permanent horniness. A nightmare. I think I wear it well.
But I was shocked, yeah. And then particularly poignant, I think, when I was 9, I fought time, because Christopher Eccleston, of course, was the 9th Doctor, scarred by the Time War.
Scarred by the Time War, yeah.
Because he destroyed both the Time Lords and the Daleks.
Now, here we get into the first bit of information about what's going on, how Rusty Davies views working on Doctor Who, right? How he views leaving Doctor Who and coming back, and what happens next, right? Fascinating, and I think indicative.
Thought until we discovered they all just missed each other.
Turns out, were you in any way miffed that you'd invented this fabulous piece of Doctor Who folklore and then Stephen Moffat thought, no, I don't like it, I'm going to rewrite it?
You have to when you leave Doctor Who, you have to take a deep breath and think, it's all up for grabs now. It's all there to be rewritten.
But not retrospective.
Is it there to be? Because we've seen articles with him being very, very supportive. He's made statements being very supportive of the current era, and I just think that's because he's a decent person and a professional person. I think it'd be deeply unprofessional to talk disparagingly about this era, even though it's kind of, and for me, it's really the only thing there is to talk about this era is to be disparaging, because it's just so I find it so incredibly awful. If you like it, great. I'm really happy for you. I just really can't stand it. But when she left, everything's up for grabs. Everything's up to be rewritten. So what does this mean for the Timeless Children? It means it's probably going. The only reason it would stay, right? The only reason it would stay is to make a point that you can make it work. Now, Mark Millar, the comic book writer, did something similar. There was in the last few years in comics, people are hired, much like Doctor Who, people are hired completely on their identity, right? If you're a trans person, that's the best ever. So there's this writer, Max Versace, who did this book called Kim and Kim, which to me looked like unreadable garbage, which was about two, I don't know, lesbian friends in space, I think. So Mark Millar basically took the exact same premise and wrote a comic, and his one was really good, right? His one was like, because he can write. So that's really the only reason I think the Timeless Children will would continue. It's in some way to end the controversy within fandom, because I think that's important to Rusty Davies, right? And not because he worries about fandom, because I think he worries about Doctor Who and how that affects it. Listen, we will hear as we go forward.
Actively, surely.
You're very clever. It was
so yeah. So we talk about we're talking about the the 50th special where the Gallifrey vanished and all the Daleks shot each other, right? Which it seemed a bit silly to me at the time as well, but I just enjoyed. Honestly, I was just taken. I was moved along with the all the Doctors appearing. Was it Doctor the War Council when the first Doctor showed up? Oh man, I loved it. I freaking loved when they're all there. And then he got 12. And then no, sir, all 13. Now was it all 13? Yeah. No, 12. No, all 12? I can't remember. Well, whatever Doctor he was, right? Yeah, no, Jodie's 13, right? So he's 12. Me, it's all up for grabs. It might be being erased. I mean, that really could happen. It really, really could happen. By the way, on my stream tomorrow, I got rumors came in today, which I think are credible for the casting the casting they're looking at, even though I don't think they're even anywhere close to thinking about it. But I think this is a really credible rumor. Tune into my stream tomorrow see, look at that bit of tease for you. It's almost like I do this professionally.
It was interesting evening, and I love that episode. It wasn't so much.
By the way, and again, I love his professionalism. How he will not speak disparagingly about anything.
Oh, stop it! This is naughty.
No,
it wasn't so much.
Yeah, some it's naughty talking about other people's things disparagingly. Again, Russell, it's got such an incredible. Again, I just innate understanding of morality, and the thing that amazes me is me. I'm a Bible thumping creationist. Russell Davies is an atheist and a very, very gay atheist. Very happy to be a gay atheist because he's comfortable with who he is. We just agree on so much, right? Especially in terms of morality, which is just, again, blows my mind.
The Time Lord's disappearing. It was all the Daleks shooting themselves. It's like, couldn't any of them dodge that? No Dalek, just go, whoops, out the way.
The Daleks, for all their fear and terror they strike in the universe, have always been basically a bit clumsy and incompetent.
Well, that's because you have to beat them.
Well, Big Finish's way of beating the Daleks in Dalek Universe was to not have any Daleks in it. Dalek Universe was a big 9-part season of David Tennant's stories. The last 3 parts are coming out today. Not this month, I should say. Probably soon, actually. It comes out in October. The first 6 parts, no Daleks! None! Not one! It's crazy.
In the 5 Doctors, I remember them being overturned by the first Doctor and his granddaughter.
Yes,
you shouldn't be able to do that
with a cane and a mirror, basically. It's that.
Yeah, firstly, I love that scene. Oh, drop! When was it Richard Hundo action? But also, this is part of Dalek lore, which kind of annoys me. It's been erased. That we had ancient Egyptians taking out Daleks before. We had that was in not the Chase, the one that's gone. Dalek Master Pan. That one there's few episodes surviving. By the way, other bit of news. This is just I'm throwing this out. They're not putting it on a thumbnail. Apparently, after Galaxy 4, the next one coming out, the next animated story is going to be the Abominable Snowman. Woohoo! Which I'm really up for. Man, can you please throw in an animated Web of Fear 3? Because, oh god, that one you did was... anyway, that was just a quick aside. See what they're talking about.
I still regard... I know Stephen Moffat splits Doctor Who viewers into fans of the show and students of the show.
Oh, that's good.
So I think I still don't have the confidence to call myself a student, but certainly you are.
I mean, I will call myself a scholar because I don't want to be a student because I suck this stuff up. Okay, I worked out, by the way, why Doctor Who magazine is so incredibly bad nowadays. Other than going to war with their fans, I worked this out on the Sabbath because I was reading old copies of Doctor Who magazines, which are only 50 pages long and so much better. So that's essentially it. They don't have ability to fill up the 80 pages or so. They made it 50 pages long. It would probably be a lot better because I'm reading the articles in these. Anyway, yeah, because I'm going over all the old Russell D. Davies production notes. Yeah, so I'm reading these old thin ones, these floppy ones, right? And before they were perfect bound, before they had a spine. And they're 50 pages long. And I'll look it up right here right now. They're 50 pages long, and now they're 80 pages long. And every article in the current Doctor Who magazine just goes on too long, goes on, and it's boring and drones. So it's like, no, make the magazine shorter. Fine. I completely forgot what they're talking about.
No, I think we're all students there. Students just learning. If you were a professor of the show, we wouldn't have the nerve to say that. But students, nice.
Okay.
Students off to a lecture.
I'll go with that.
Yeah,
It's just a lovely book to hold in your hands.
It's sweet.
Oh, they're talking about again the book, and I put this in because it just shows you his love of Doctor Who, which really for me is very important, right? I mean, like, imagine if Alec Kurtzman had this love of Star Trek. Wouldn't that be incredible? Or Kathleen Kennedy loved Indiana Jones. So, like, wouldn't that be great? Like, loved it and cared about it.
Isn't it? And I do think kids can read it. A lot of kids, you know, I say it's fanish. Everyone's a fan now. Everyone is.
Yeah, this was 2017 or 2018, I think, before 2017, 2018, before Jodie had started. Everybody was a fan, man. We was a thing. It's amazing the amount of devastation that's happening very, very quickly because you live through it, and yeah, you don't really notice it in real time. But like, yeah, if you could just cast your mind back to a year ago today, right? And not Doctor Who. Think about what the world was like and compare it to today. It'll blow your freaking mind, mate. It will destroy your... Well, not destroy your mind. Well, maybe it will. We'll find out. Give it a try. If you've lost your mind, put in the comment, blah, something like that.
Everyone is. They're all steeped in it. Some kids love more than going and exploring that 50-year history.
Yeah.
In the way they love exploring the history of Harry Potter. You can't have enough Harry Potter books explaining Quidditch and stuff. So I love that. It makes students of them. Student is the word. It makes students of kids.
And you're...
Well, they were students when they liked it, right? But the bottom line is nobody really likes Doctor Who anymore. Doctor Who is made for Guardian readers, for the mothers to tie their children to the chair. If they're a little boy, put a dress on them, and then put them in the chair and tie them in and make them watch it because it's stunning and brave. And that's really who it's for. There's not that many people out there. There are a lot of people out there who just want to have a bit of a laugh and relax and watch TV and maybe think about something, right? And not be preached at.
still happy to talk about Doctor Who and stuff, but
No, it's the rest of my life, and I love it. It's Doctor Who. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you know, Lord knows I've had a good time with it and fun. No one loves it more than me, so I will be doing these interviews in, I hope, 30 years' time.
So I think this is a major. We're going to hear the real motivation towards the end of this. There was a major motivation in combat. He loves Doctor Who. He loves Doctor Who, and he's not stupid, and he sees what a disaster it's been. But we're going to get into that in a minute, all right? We got 4.5 minutes to go.
And happy to do so. Love it.
good. Well, we will always be grateful to you, of course, for... if it had come back and it had been bad, it might never have come back
And
again.
that's why we worked so hard on it. The fear of failure was a great engine behind the success of that show.
See, this is why I think we have these cultural cuckoos that have come in and they've taken over fandoms and they've changed them, right? I was listening to a video this morning by your boy Zach, great channel. And he was saying, like, I was there in the 80s when Indiana Jones was playing and James Bond and Star Wars and Star Trek, and not one person ever said, oh, this is by a white man. Yeah, Star Wars by a white man. Yeah. No one said that. No one thought about it. No one cared about it, right? It wasn't even on the radar or being on somebody's radar, It's just absolutely incredible how these how people are fixated upon these things. But yeah, the reason they glob onto things is because they really want to get this messaging over. This social engineering, that's what it's basically what it is. The idea behind social engineering, which sounds I always say it out because it sounds so stupid when you say it out loud, right? It sounds so stupid when you go people think women and black people are inferior. They don't. Okay, nobody thinks that. Nobody. Never happened. They think women and black people are inferior. And whatever. Who else on progressive track? So we're going to subtly educate them that they're not inferior by turning every franchise into a female-led thing. Are you watching the show Foundation, which is a very good show on Apple Plus? I went to subscribe to Apple Plus to watch that show and I found I was already subscribed. I don't know how long I've been subscribed to it. That's very disturbing to me. But anyway, I'm on the third episode. The first 2 episodes is about they insert a black girl genius scientist who works out an impossible scientific thing on a planet where science is illegal or something like that. She's just so sad. Other than that, it's a good story. It's an interesting story. Everything about it interests me. And the third episode, they switch it up and they bring in. They now focus on another stunning and brave black woman, and it's so noticeable, right? It's so that the people making it are so obsessed, right? So unbelievably obsessed by these like irrelevant character traits that it takes over everything else, right? It absolutely does.
Thought of
Terrified.
That moment when Chris.
Oh yeah, so the reason they glob on, right? The reason they glob on is because they want to get the social messaging over, and they want to subtly re-educate people into think that black people and women are people too, which everybody thinks, right? Everybody thinks, right? Everybody thinks black people and women are people too. And by the way, the rumor for the 14th Doctor, which I find incredible, black person, it's irrelevant because he's a great actor. He's a freaking awesome actor who I'd love to see play Doctor Who. It's like this guy is kind of like, in my mind, perfect for the part. That's why they glob on things, because they want to get this messaging through. Which messaging is the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters. And now it's become a trend, which is, man, it's in absolutely everything. But I mean, that's essentially why I think this era of Doctor Who has absolutely failed.
Christopher Eccleston says Ron.
Yeah.
But the point was, the reason they globbed onto it, because they didn't have any fear. It's very, very clear that the experimental nature of season 11 of Doctor Who, in which they didn't have any returning monsters and they made the Doctor into a doofus without any agency, showed they didn't really, they weren't scared. They weren't scared of failure. They just said, well, yeah, this is now, it's the new dawn, baby. Yes, finally, we can embrace women being heroes, because we've never been able to do that before. It's again, nobody thinks women and black people are inferior. I mean, yes, some people do, but they're a teeny tiny minority of weirdos. They're far less of them than the people who are obsessed with insisting that evil racists have taken over the world and they have to fight against it. And the reason they think about that is because they were idiots and they assumed that Brexit and Trump was all not about hating black people and women. And they assumed that was the entire, and it was just utter nonsense. Let's keep going.
Good.
I'm tingling now.
Yeah. March 2005.
You know what?
Oh, they're talking about that great moment when Christopher Eccleston grabs Billy Piper's hand for the first time and says, "Run!" Oh, love it! Freaking love it!
It sticks in my mind a lot from those days, which is not a moment that people really... And it's when Toxic by Britney Spears suddenly kicks into the soundtrack.
Again, the reason this is in, again, I really want you to understand the connection of Russell Lee Davies to humanity and pop culture via that, right? Which is why I'm so excited for this upcoming era.
Track.
Yes.
And for some reason, I felt then... Because there's always pressure if you bring something back to make it current, and it can often be done very clumsily. And I thought, you know what, there's a wink with this as well. There's a bit of a bit of a nudge and a bit of a...
You see, this is another reason why I'm not worried about anything that he's going to... Even if he keeps the Time Machine, even if he keeps Jodie Whittaker, even if he keeps... It has Lydia West. That was the rumor yesterday of who he's looking at, which I don't believe. But even if he does choose any of that, the thing that really separates him from Chris Chibnall, I mean, other than massive amounts of talent, obviously, but the thing that really separates them is that they Rusty Davies has a sense of humor. Like Chibnall and people like of that ilk take this imagined war that they're fighting so incredibly seriously, and they take themselves so incredibly. They can't have a laugh. They can't have a giggle. Which is what I think that Toxic was, and it was also it put Doctor Who in a real it contemporized it without making it trying to make it trendy, which is what they're trying to do today.
But it is current, but we don't care. We're enjoying it.
And you've got to be careful with that stuff because it was current, but it wasn't absolutely current. Toxic was a few years old by then, so you weren't faking it. Say, look, that's in the charts this week.
Yeah.
Also, it's a great song. You can't go wrong if we're Toxic in something.
It is a great song. It absolutely is a great song. I'm surprised how much I agree with him on this one.
It's a truly great song.
You know what? I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I don't think I realised what a good song it was until I heard it on the Doctor Who soundtrack.
And the video.
Yeah, me too. Okay, you're right. Okay, Frankie. Yeah, good point there, mate.
Video is. At the time.
Okay. Now we're talking about the Toxic video. I'm just thinking of a young Britney Spears wearing what was it? It was kind of like shimmery spandex. What was it? It was like that fabric they used in the original series of Star Trek a lot for like gold, like a golden spandex shimmer or whatever it was. Yeah, that one's stuck in my mind a little bit. That's certainly right there in the spank bank. I have to agree with you.
I am still a great consumer of that stuff. It's like
okay, and now we're getting into how he makes Doctor Who. He's a great consumer of this pop culture.
we had adventures set in Downing Street because Girls Aloud did the Jump video from Love Actually, where they break into Downing Street. Do you remember that video? They break into Downing Street and they're sneaking past Hugh Grant as the Prime Minister. And I sat watching that thinking, what a great idea for a Doctor Who story. You break into Downing Street, which then became that Aliens of London story where they're trapped in Downing Street. There's a lot you can do. And in the Toxic...
Again, it's a very, again, the connection to the contemporary world. Which then boom comes out and like again these wonderful adventures. Fascinating. And again, I just think the world that's going to be making Doctor Who in 20. I mean, assuming that there's no apocalypse coming. I think there probably is. But even if there is an apocalypse coming, I hope that still 2023 we're getting new Rusty Davies Doctor Who even after an apocalypse. That's how much I would like it. I'll put a good word into the good Lord. I'll put a word into the good Lord. I'll put a good word into the good Lord. I'll try and make it good. On the on that front. But I think the world of that created the Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall Doctor Who is over. It's destroyed. I mean, honestly, they've destroyed it. Right? They got complete control and they destroyed it. I think people just want to have fun, and I think that's what is going to be connected. I think he's connected enough to the British public or the viewing public to go, we're sick of this bollocks that you keep trying to feed us. And I think the only reason would have anything similar is to show how to do that bollocks in a successful way.
Video, she's kind of escaping laser beams and it's quite Doctor Who-y. So at the time, I was watching all these visual images and thinking, let's make Doctor Who look like that. So then
yeah, exactly. Again, contemporary, connected to the Toxic video, the look of it. And you see that was a template for the look of Doctor Who. It's fascinating, right? And again, I'm just excited. I'm getting more excited. I've watched this video 3 times now. I had to edit it down so I can get into a digestible lump. But it's really fat. And man, I give myself so much work because these videos are always a pain in the ass to make because I take the audio track from the video I'm playing and I splice it in and replace it from the one that plays through the speakers, and so you get cleaner audio so you don't get it so muffled, but it just takes me a long time.
It fits. The soundtrack really, really fits because it had been it wasn't just slapping a song on it. Those images had been in my head right from the start.
Did you leave Doctor Who with a lot of ideas for Doctor Who that you never got around to using?
No, to be honest, no. I kind of would have done them all in like a
Crammed
year
them all
before. I mean, I'm not saying I ran.
Yeah, this is why I don't think he started writing Doctor Who yet, right? I think, again, if you read Writer's Tale, he writes things at the last minute. He procrastinates, writes things at the last minute. He's starting to think about it, starting bubbling on it. Maybe he saw the implosion of Doctor Who and then that started bubbling ideas around in his head. But also in this video, really fat, and I really recommend you go watch the full thing. He's talking about writing what would become It's a Sin. and how it wasn't going, how he is being rejected by people, and he's trying to find a way of making it work. Yes, fantastic.
Ran out of them, but a year before I knew I was leaving, my mind just moved on to other things, to write other things. So even now, today, people say, have you got an idea for a story? I'm like, no.
Yeah, because real writers, they write in the moment, right? They write it. Whenever you hold ideas over, they become stale. I just watched the Many Saints of Newark last night, which is I'm going to be reviewing after I record this video, and which is the Sopranos movie, which I love. The Sopranos, great TV show. The only bit in it that really isn't is weaker, and it's a brilliant idea, is that if you I was wanting Sopranos for you now, but David Chase had this idea of a mobster, a mob boss, going to a psychotherapist, which again was new at the time. No people hadn't seen it before, and through that he diagnosed that his mother was going to try and kill him, try and have him bumped off. And so when they actually did that in the show, because that was the idea they had from the beginning, they weren't writing it fluidly. That was the only thing that seems stale. Timeless Children has been an idea that's been hanging around since the 80s, according to Chibnall, and it's very stale. It's very stale. But again, I think he hasn't started writing it. I think he's going to be writing in the moment, which great news. It's very, very good news.
What happened?
You see, for us heterosexuals, it's such a...
Okay, so now we're talking about how everything's gone woke, and I put this in because this is before the woke apocalypse. This was just when it was starting, right? And it was saying, there's such a big rush to make these stories. Let's hear it in his own words.
Well-trodden path.
They're still churning out stories. I know. Let's be honest.
But they're not so good.
They're wearing thin. That's
so you're talking about stories about heterosexual stories, and they say that's why. Let's say and he's saying they're wearing thin. We've seen them too many times before.
That's why there's a great. I think 2017, 2016. There's a rush, isn't there, towards multicultural stories, multi-sexual stories, because actually maybe we are wearing thin, and we're realizing with our intelligence there are thousands of stories that haven't been told.
Yeah, so you see the insanity from inside. Every piece of insanity always has a bit of sanity that creates it. That idea was very, very genuine and seemed very logical, very, very reasonable. We haven't seen trans stories. We haven't seen that many cases. We've seen a lot. It's not so that there was a rush to what was really going on. It was again a reaction to Brexit, and it was a reaction to Trump, and it was again a reasonable theory, But what's really happened is we've ignored the realities of human nature, which is heroes are traditionally male, right? And active going out battle heroes, 100% of the combatants in just about every war were male up until the last 30-40 years, right? It's like and it's not just because of technology. This is which is what they believe. I think this is something that's core to our personal identity. And I'm not saying if you're a woman you can't do this, or if you're a man you can't do that. Everybody can do anything, right? Nobody should feel constrained. But this rejection of basic human nature, which is why I think these gender sort of stories, generally speaking, don't work very well, especially when that's all you get. So the only thing you get is female heroes, because there's no acknowledgement that it's going against type. Used to be when you had female heroes, there was an acknowledgement that was something different about it, right? Which made it I think had a more dramatic tension because of it. Now the idea behind it says this is totally normal that a 110-pound woman can drop kick a 300-pound gorilla of a man without blinking and breaking into a sweat. This is totally normal, and there's nothing weird about it whatsoever. And if you say anything, you say it's weird anyway, you're a bigot, right? That's essentially what they're saying.
There's a question I feel I've got to ask you.
Now again, this is pre-Jodie, right? Pre-Jodie, and now we're going to hear Russell T Davies' actual motivations for coming back to Doctor Who, right? First, we're going to hear the reality of what life was like back then. There wasn't Fandom setting themselves on fire going, no! Again, the reason I like that Sopranos movie, it'll set between 68 and 72, 73, but it really showed the racial tensions on a street level from from that era. And I love the way that it did it because it showed it very accurately and very genuinely and in a very real way. But also we see how much the world has changed, like how much that the world isn't racist by looking at what it was. So watching this, we're going to hear how Doctor Who fandom was totally fine and on board, which I was. I was totally on board with Jodie Whittaker. I was one of these people that he's about to talk about.
Thank you. And it's the Jodie Whittaker question.
Yes.
What do you think?
How exciting! How excited are you? It's great. I'm on this book tour for this Doctor Who book. So last night, 200 fans, and no one in any doubt about it. I'm really tired of the objections being, when a journalist does an article, they'll start it by saying Twitter is an uproar over the casting of a female Doctor, and
no, we weren't. No. I mean, I was a bit like I was more like Frank Skinner, but no, we weren't. As we'll hear in a minute, we were like, okay, let's give this a go.
And it's outrageous to me that actually you meet these fans and they're very, very happy that this is happening. They're completely happy and excited about next year. And it gets misreported. Maybe 10 people online.
Yeah, I was again until wasn't until after Arachne came, the Tsusunga conundrum. I was like, I thought, oh my god, we're in real trouble. It wasn't actually till season 12 that I realised how bad it was going to be.
Under 50 different aliases are spouting up saying you've ruined the programme. 10 people, and it's all that gets reported. And I think it's a real
Do you think they're all Ian Levine?
I couldn't name names.
No, we have got into hardcore Doctor Who stuff.
Are you excited?
I am a mixture of excited and afraid, like I am with every Doctor that's mentioned. Because I have the old man's malady that I think it'll be bad and the BBC will decommission it.
Yes, that's bred.
Now we're getting into what's going on. Right now, we finally 35 seconds ago we look behind the curtain.
But that's bred into us as fans,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because
I think they know that on the team. They're not daft, Chris.
They are daft, and they didn't know it.
They know they've got all of this riding on their reputations, on Jodie Whittaker's reputation. It was like that in 2005 when you had Chris Eccleston and Billy Piper. It's like, if this fails...
Which it has. Now pay attention. 007. Now pay attention. If this fails, which it has...
Not only Doctor Who will go down the pan, it'll affect Chris, it'll affect Billy, it'll affect my career.
And that's it. That's it. They destroyed his legacy. That's why I think this is everything he just said is his motivation. Doctor Who going down the pan, and it is going to hurt his career. And I think that's why I think he's back.
When you've got that devil on your back, it's a great impetus to work well. And they'll have that again here. That will these doubts and these fears, just no matter how confident they are, will be chasing them. That will make it brilliant.
Yeah, that was a good theory, mate. Didn't actually work, and I understand that was the theory. But again, I think in a nutshell, this is why Russell T Davies is coming back to Doctor Who. It's not just destroying Doctor Who, which he clearly loves, clearly adores Doctor Who. Not just destroying Doctor Who, it's destroying everything he created. It's destroying his legacy. It's destroying him, and I think that is one of the number one factors why he came back. So there you go, from the horse's mouth. People ask, why on earth is Russell T Davies returning? I think we know. I think we have a reasonably good idea. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, you Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.